For me this week on One Time for Your Mind, wanted to talk about, for a lot of us, I know we kicked off Black History Month with this episode, but in January, you notice we had a 2-week break where we did not put out any episodes. And, we came back last week and, didn't get into too much of why. But the real reason why is, look, man, caught that Rona, man. I got COVID. I tested positive earlier in the month. I feel comfortable sharing this because I think it's important for people to know what is going on with this virus and what it can do and how it can impact communities. I'm fortunate. I'm fine. I've now tested negative. I will be, at the time you hear this podcast, I will have returned to work. I took the necessary time to take care of my body, to heal, to rest, to get what is get done. I'm fortunate. I did not have symptoms as bad as some other people I know who have gone through this and have experienced this. But what I would like to say to people, take this seriously. Wear your mask. And it has nothing to do with how you're necessarily living your life, whether it's, if you're living it reckless, you're probably going to put yourself at a greater chance. But I'm someone who took precaution. I don't go out much other than for work or to maybe run an occasional errand here. I took precautions. I have no idea how I contracted COVID-19. And you know what? When you contract it, you realize none of that matters. It doesn't matter how you got it or figuring out where. It's just really about, can you bounce back from this? Can you fight this? For me, to share a little bit of my journey, it started off with symptoms that I thought was just a stomach ache. I had a stomach ache and some headaches the week I had it, and then it started progressing and it got worse and worse. And I was like, this isn't really good. I need to get tested. And I got tested and sure enough found that it was. And that was only because I did some research and saw there had been some stuff now where people were starting off with symptoms of stomach aches. And then it turned into, I did have a fever and I did feel extreme fatigue. I mean, days where I barely could get out of bed, fatigue like that, muscle aches, body aches. It was really rough for about 3 days. And this pretty much took me about almost 3 weeks to fully recover. So this is no joke. And, one of the things I will share, and I shared this with you, Bryan, and talking about it, is the week when I started feeling the symptoms and I didn't know what it was, I was going out and I did do some stories for work. And because I wore my mask and I take precautions, some of the people that I interviewed and did stuff with and we socially distanced appropriately, they were fine. I informed those people, of course, when it was done. Contact tracing, also very important. If you find out that you have this, inform people. Let them know so they can get tested. That also helps to save lives. There's a lot of great people doing great work around this. But what this made me think about, and something that I do want to say on this podcast before we wrap up, is we have seen how this disease, how this virus has affected Black and brown communities in particular, low-income communities in particular. And what I can tell you is I'm someone who's privileged and fortunate enough to have, one, access to good health care, access to good food, access to a job and rest that I didn't have to rush back to, and I was able to take the time to get myself healthy. Some people don't have that, especially in our communities. And by our, I mean the Black, Latino, brown communities, Black and brown communities across, minority communities across the boards, and low income that have to rush back to work, that don't have the good health care. And this virus, I can tell you, it's very tough to beat if you don't have that. You almost are going to have a tough time or another shot. And to mention in our communities, there's sometimes a lot of underlying health conditions where I can totally see how combined with the symptoms of this could take you out. So this is very serious. If you love your loved ones, if you care about anybody, you should be doing this. I felt this way before. This did not take me I did not have to have COVID-19 to realize that I need to care about my fellow brothers and sisters out there. I'm just saying more that people should realize the fact that if you've had it, if you understand how serious it is, please wear a mask. Please do the things that are appropriate. We are now seeing that there are different strains popping up here in this country that aren't necessarily more deadly, but easier to transmit and transfer to other people. So it's even more of this time. We are not out of the clear just because vaccines are being doled out. It's more of the time to take it seriously. I'm blessed to be healthy. I'm fine. I'm glad I took the time to recover. But like I said, it took me nearly 3 weeks. I tested positive for it. I then went and got tested again 10 days later, and it still was in my system. So that's another thing. It still might be in your system, and you still want to be careful about what you want to do with that. So that's my last thing I got to say. I'm not trying to preach too much. I'm glad that I'm fine. There are a lot of people out there who are struggling with this. My concern was obviously for my family and other people around me I may have come in contact with, and thankfully they're all fine. So look, wear your damn mask, wear your damn masks, wear your damn mask, and stop being an idiot out there, because some people doing stupid stuff, risking it to go see Bow Wow in Houston and other places like that. That's a whole nother thing. Wear your damn mask. That's all I gotta say.